Hi everyone, it's Dasher Dave here, and I'm back for another crafty video. So, sorry, it's been a while, and it's taken me some time because I've had some microphone issues, some technical problems, and I know I'm behind with I was trying to do a video every other day. However, I'm a little bit behind. I say schedule, you say schedule. You say potato, I say potato. I don't say potato at all, I say potato. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to make these, which are made with teabag paper and napkins. Now, these are just like transparent sheets. And the thing I like about these are, you know, when you overlay a napkin over a book page, you're kind of predetermining that you're going to use that napkin on that particular book page. With this, you can change the book page. So let's say you were doing an opera book, you know, for instance, and you wanted to use some opera pages, but you wanted to use this particular napkin. You could lay that over, and you've got this kind of translucent, if you can see that, translucent paper. So hopefully you can see all of that, and it is not impeded. Your view is not impeded. No, that's good. So these you can make these using any of your napkins. Great for using up your napkin scraps. So that's one clue to one of the things that you're going to need. So you're going to need napkins. So I've got a few here. There's some of the newer ones. This is some of the older scraps that I've got. Obviously, by no means all the scraps that I've got. Anybody that's ever seen my napkin collection will know. But you'll also need teabag paper. So teabag paper can come, you can buy it on a roll or in sheets like this. This is just folded teabag paper. And it's very plain coloured if you buy it like that. You can have it as tea bags like this is. This is a tea bag. In the UK, this is kind of just our bulk standard kind of tea bags. They're what most people in the UK drink from. They can sometimes be round or they can be square, but they tend to be like this because tea is a very standard drink in the UK. You can get posher tea bags that look like this, and these tend to be like I say, posher tea bags because they tend to be ones that are more expensive. You know, hotel kind of, that would be considered a hotel tea bag. You'd have that hanging out of your cup when you're brewing your tea. So I wanted to show you the various things that I use. I have made these. So let me get these out. So this one and this one were made using this style of tea bag. And then the rest of these were various shades of dyeing of the rolls of or the wrap of tea bag paper. So I'll show you what I've got here. So you can use this type of tea bag, but because this is kind of so rare, I tend to use these for specific things because I unfold them, take the tea out, and then put little messages inside and have it as like a tea bag but with messages in. But you can certainly unfold those and do the same thing with them, or you can just buy it on a roll like this, much cheaper. And I will be very honest, this has not been tea dyed, this has been coffee dyed, and the reason I've used coffee is because you get a much darker colour from it, and I like the undulations of colour from it. So I've got some darker stuff, some that was only like a light dip there, and then this is just a different brew of dipping. Okay, so it smells very coffee like around here. So the next thing we're going to need is a bit of space. So this is what we're going to make. These have multiple uses. Obviously, sticking onto pages and things, you could turn them into little pockets on. You know, you could have one. This is actually a pumpkin. You know, you can trim the edges down if you want to shape it off or whatever. You could stick it down either side, and it's a very resilient pocket it would make. I am going to be doing another project with these, and you will see that hopefully the next video. So it's not a to be continued as such. It's a watch that one if you fancy seeing what I made with them. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a bit of this paper. I'm trying to keep this off my cereals. I've had to throw a few cereals away recently because I don't eat cereals every day, and some of them gone out of date, and you know, I don't mind them being out of date. It's when they go all soggy and I don't like them. So I kept this back because it's great for doing stuff like this, getting messy, etc. So what you need to do is you need to first of all start with, you're going to have some napkins. You're going to use some teabag paper, stained, unstained, however you prefer, entirely up to you. And you're going to need some Mod Podge, okay, so, or other PVA glue, but it does need to be mixed with water. So this is the mixed variety, and we're just going to make some cutouts of the things that we want. So I always use a water pen. If you don't want to use a water pen, you could just tear it out. If you don't want to tear it out, you could just use a paintbrush dipped in some water, which is basically a water brush. So I'm just going to lightly, and it's always better with a fibrous edge rather than a straight edge, because you don't see where it ends quite so easily. It's not, you know, you don't get a straight line in it. I'm going to use that. I used that one in the last bit. Let's tear off the bits of paper that I'm not going to keep, Dave, because that's silly keeping bits of paper just for the sake of it. I don't know whether I want one that size. Maybe have, just get my water flowing. I beg your pardon. Get my water flowing. Get your motor running. Head on the highway. Oh, shh. No singing, Dave. So, just kind of loosely tearing this out. That's what we're going to do. So, it'll probably be by the magic of television. This will have speeded it up. It better have done because I can't speak. So that's basically the pieces I'm going to use. I'm also going to do something with this. So I'm going to get a bit of this and I'm just going to tear it randomly. Maybe that might be a bit random, Dave. Tear a random bit out of the middle of it. Doesn't matter how I approach this. It's going to a piece, and I am going to stamp it with some things. So I would normally use a stamp, like a proper, you know, acrylic stamp. Like, let's just see, like one of these. In fact, I shall do one of those, but on another piece of paper. So I'll get another piece back out of my hoard. And if you're going to stamp, you've got to remember you need to stamp with an archival style ink pad, a permanent ink. That's what I mean. So I'm going to use this VersaFine Claire. I'm just going to stamp that on. It doesn't matter which way up I stamp it because I can turn it around. Put a stamp on there. Put my own stamp on it. Ha ha, he says. Ha ha, in a ha ha sort of way. And then I'm going to use some of these for a bit of a difference. Issued for construction. What's this one say? Approved drawing. So these were ones that I purchased online from, I guess it was some company closing down, and well, you know, their loss is my gain. So I need something in black. There we go. It stays on. Oh, beautiful. It smells gorgeous. Trust me, it smells gorgeous. Yeah, do that one. Okay, I just want to, you know, just in case you don't have any that you want to use, you can make your own. You can do your own stamps. Do your own thing. So, let's tear these out. 2. So we've got that. I've got this. Again, just tear it around. Remember, a fibrous edge is much harder for the eye to train in on, anyway. So, get those out. Cool. Okay, so now we've got these. This is our pile of napkins that we're going to use for things. What we're going to do is we are going to now have a play with some Mod Podge. So you need to use some Mod Podge, and the Mod Podge I'm using is my watered down Mod Podge. It's a little thicker than my normal watered down Mod Podge, because I think it just works a little bit better, but you don't want it too thick. Let's just say, yeah, it's a little bit too thick, that. I'm going to share my water with it. So it's basically, I would say 2/3 Mod Podge, 1/3 water. It's kind of really hard to explain. It's more about the consistency. So yeah, so it's like a consistency of like single cream. That's really what you want it to be like. You don't want it to be too thick. Just remember, you're working with napkins, so it's always harder. So let's use this one first. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the mat first, and then I'm going to paste some out. So this will always bleed because it's fibrous paper, and you stamp it with anything and it will just bleed a little, but I don't mind the runniness of it. So put that down first, and then what we need to do is we need to get some of the Teabag paper, and we're going to tear a piece off, a terrapin off. No terrapins, just tear a piece. And then what you want to do is you kind of just want to lay it over, and then you're just going to paste over the top of that. I've not used these construction stamps for this before. I think they're water based. I think they're definitely water based because I can tell by the way that they're moving. So, like I was saying, normally I would use an archival, but they come with their own ink on them, so there's not much you can do about it. So let's do this one. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit down just to stop it from moving around. Put my birds down, and then I'm just going to paste over the top of it. And you only want to get this kind of just a layer of glue over the top of it, Don't get it oversaturated. Remember, you're working with napkin, especially on napkin on a slippery surface like this. It will start to tear if you get too much moisture on it. And now you want to get a bit of tea bag paper. I'm going to tear a bit off. Now, if you were using a tea bag, it would open up very similar sort of size to this. And all I do is I just get rid of the straight edge. And you can use, you know, if you tear it and it tears into two, don't worry about it. You can use it torn up. It doesn't matter. In fact, it makes it a little bit more interesting if you've got more than one sheet on the go. So you're just going over the top of it, you're pasting it all down. So you may have noticed that my mat is back. So my mat is back the right way up. And the simple reason for that is I've cleaned it. So, and I would give you a bit of a word of warning. Don't leave it like I did till last to clean it. The longer you leave a mat to clean, the harder it is to clean. The longer you leave any stain to clean, the harder it is to clean. So just clean it when it's there, even if it's the most inconvenient. Clean it when it's wet, because once it's dried, it's never going to be any easier to get off. So I learnt the hard way. Learn from my mistakes. There you go. So you're just going to paste it down. Okay, so let's do a different one. Let's use this one. I'm going to paste this down. I'm going to do this slightly differently. So I'm just going to put that down so I can put some paste on it without it sliding around. Literally, the reason is the tiny bit on the bottom is just to stop it from moving. And then this one, what we're going to do is we're just going to open this up. So this is a piece of the this is the tea bag paper with actual tea leaves in it. And if you can't get all of the tea leaves out, don't worry. Bit of texture doesn't hurt anybody. You'll find it tears better in one direction than it does in another. So literally, when I saw people do things with tea bag paper, I was a bit, I don't have any of that tea bag paper. But I drink tea, but my tea doesn't look like that tea bag paper. So I tried, and it works just as good. It might look a little bit different. It's got, like, I don't know whether you can see, it's a bit more porous, but it works perfectly fine. So this one is, I've just used it to dab up the remaining bits of coffee, so it will be a bit darker. I'm just going to paste that over. It all adds to the grand adventure that we take ourselves on as crafters. You know, lots of people say, "Oh, but I don't have that. Oh, why can't you use something that I've got?" Use what you have to hand and try and experiment. And one of the biggest favours you can do yourself is don't get in your own head and get in your own way. Because I'm a real one for this. Thinking, I can't do that. I'm not as good as them. They do better. They've got more subscribers, whatever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you're spending time in your craft room, you're giving yourself an opportunity to be creative. If you're not, then you're not. That's obvious, isn't it? If you're not, you're not. But yeah, so today I've had peaks and troughs of inspiration. I had to do some prep for this and I wasn't feeling particularly inspired, but I still sat here and did it. And then once I'd done that, I felt, I don't know if I can do anything else, and I don't know what else to do, and so then I just cleaned my mat. So but at least I was in here giving myself an opportunity. So like I say, you can use all the little bits. Oh, so you've got little bits of this left. This is a perfect opportunity to use this. Except for when you breathe, it blows away. And if you cough, it'll blow even further, Dave, so try not to cough. Just using the spaces that I've got. You don't want it to be too close, because it's a bit like baking. If you have it too close, it'll all merge together and become one big thing. It's like when you're baking and your cookies all form into one massive splodge if you're not careful. So there's no right or wrong way up to have this. It's just that obviously if you lie it with the crease facing up, it lies down much easier. And all you want to do is you want to cover over it. You don't want to get too mad. Remember, you're still using paper, so it can get a bit fragile. But you just want to put a bit down. Helps to hold it in place while you paste down. Paste it all over. Doesn't matter if there's parts of the image missing, it's absolutely fine. It will look just as fantastic. I'm going to use a less dyed piece this time. Tear that straight edge off. Oh, it's come off in a weird shape, never mind. Let's make that a little bit more interesting shape-wise. Just, I've only torn that bit off because I didn't want it to attach to the other one, this one. And we're just going to go around and paste it all down now. And when you are leaving it to dry, let it dry naturally. I've found that the naturaler, the better. The more natural, the better, Dave. Naturaler. That's not a word. And the action of the, don't worry if you think, well, that napkin's not going transparent like Dave's did. It doesn't go transparent until afterwards. You have to paste it all over first and let it all dry. None of this is looking transparent yet. It only looks transparent afterwards. So I've got, by the way, there's tons of this around my house currently drying on various radiators and various locations around the house, because it's winter here and nothing will dry outside, so I'm going to put that bit on like that, I think. Put another bit over the other bit. And I'll put another bit over this bit that's sticking out. Sorry if my arm's in the way, it's just I'm holding things down, stopping it from slipping away from me. So this is very similar to the faux wax paper. Wax paper? No. Not wax paper, Dave. What's the word? Can't think. What's the word, Dave? I don't know. Not faux wax paper. What's it called? Faux. Glassine is what I was trying to think of. This is a piece of the. This is dyed with tea dye. This one, we can tell it's tea dye because it's much lighter. See, and this is completely different colour. But it, like I say, it all adds to the rich tapestry of it all. A bit there. Sitting off the mat. Stick that on there, that's fine. And just paste it down. So I will have edited this video and sped it up in places. Reason for that is my voice still isn't reliable for talking. And that's the reason why I can't do a live video at the moment still. My voice just won't hold out. So I won't be going back to doing lives until I'm at that point where I can confidently talk for an hour or so without coughing. And I don't know why, although my cough has generally gone, although I did have a massive coughing fit today, has generally gone, it's still just not reliable. So here's another piece of this lighter colour one. Paste that on like that. But yeah, hopefully, we're getting there. It was only Christmas that I had COVID, and I know some people have said it's taken them, a good 12 weeks to recover. So, so I guess I'm pushing it. I still, like I say, I still generally feel better, but I do still feel just a little bit odd, off, I would say, rather than odd. Put a piece of that up there because I can, and I will. Okay, so if you're not using this kind of paper, I'll put a little blob of this on in a few places. If you're not using this sort of paper, then you might want to. So this paper is fantastic because it's great. It's non-stick. You can peel things off it, and it's great. It's like the modern day. It's the plastic version of wax paper, but it's made of plastic. So it's not waxed paper. Ooh, just lost the top of that bird's head. But if you're using, like a piece of non-stick paper or whatever, then you might want to scooch up the edges to make it easier for you to be able to peel them off at the end when you're finished, which I'll show you in a minute what I mean by that. I know some people do it that way. I've not. I mean, like I have on some of those, but not all of them, and I haven't had an issue personally. But these won't take long to dry either, by the way. So when I've said to leave them to dry naturally, they won't take long to dry. You can put them in a warm place. I don't mean dry them slowly over the course of 3 years. I mean leave them to dry just at room temperature, or you can put them near a source of heat. Obviously, just remember it's paper and plastic, so not next to a naked flame or anything like that. But we have radiators in the UK, so you can put it near a radiator. What I'm saying is just don't dry it with a heat gun. it's much better. It's less likely to go. It's less likely to go. Yes. I'll get my words out in a minute. Give me a few minutes. I might get my words out. It's less likely to wrinkle, is what I mean, or bubble. So you get a much nicer finish that way. But I'll show you what I mean by wrinkling up the edges in a moment, if you give me a moment. I don't know whether I've got space for that one. I don't, actually. So, what I mean is, so let's take this one for instance. If you're not doing it on this type of paper, what you might want to do is you might want to just scoot up all the edges like this. And what you want to make sure is that they're flattened down again. And what that does is it just gives you a stronger edge to pick up. But if you're using it on this kind of non-stick, either wax paper or you might be doing it on this plastic style wax paper, then you should be fine. But if you want to give it a try like this, then do so. Robinson do so. I know it's Robinson Crusoe, just by the way. I know I get some people correcting me when I say things that I think are funny, but people think I've got it wrong. So it also adds, if you're doing that, it also adds the interest of it. So for instance, like this, you get this like wrinkly edge, which adds interest. It depends on what you're going to do with them as well. So you can always wrinkle them up and it gives you options that way. Okay, so put that back in there. So that's that. Okay, so what we're going to do, magic of television. We will come back and this will be dry next time you see it, hopefully. Touch wood. Okay, so we've left them for 24 hours now. The only reason why I left them for 24 hours is because I didn't put them anywhere to speed dry anywhere. So I have just let them dry naturally, like I suggested is best, and they dry nice and flat that way. So let's get them off. So you just need to be careful when you're peeling them. Just peel it up from the corner and then just pull it away and pull gently. Remember, it is paper at the end of the day, and you might have some like little gluey edges, but they will all just peel off nicely. And let's face it, when you've glued it down, you won't even notice that they're there. So that's the one I just tried with using some of the officey style stamp, these kind of things, and I gave that one a go. This one was using one of the other stamps that I've got, and then the stained Teabag. I don't know why I started putting them over there and then putting them over here. This is the one with the bee on it. Right, this is actually on the seal of this, so I don't know how this will come off. It might come off a bit crinkly, but it's fine. There we go. That's the flower and the bee. Like I say, they just peel off nicely. So they are shiny on the back, which you can utilize if you're on some projects. You might want to use it as an envelope, like the glassine bit in an envelope. So this is the one where I scooped up the edges. Much easier to peel off because the edges are already released. There we go. There's this one. This is just the one with the bird on it and a little bit of extra darker bit in the corner. There's this one. This is the one using the bagged style tea bags, the sealed bags of tea bag paper. So just in case those people who don't have access to posh tea bags, you can use a standard tea bag as well. So I just wanted you to not be afraid to try things. There's that one, and then finally we've got this one. Let's just try and get this peeled off. there you go. That's the last one. That's the bird one. So I've kind of gone a bit mad making these at the moment. Let's hold that up and just put that to one side. So this is this batch. This is the one we've just done, and then this is what I'd originally got. And like I say, you can use them in various different projects. One of the things I have been doing is I've been making envelopes, and this is one that I used. I made an envelope using exactly one of those glassine, one of these, sorry, as a glassine frontage, so you can see through it, which is lovely. Yeah, so this is a video that's coming up soon. So there you go. So go and give it a go. Have a try, make it, see how you go, and let me know what happens. So thank you very much for watching. My name's Dasher Dave. And remember, I love you all without exception, until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. And I'll see you all again very soon. Take care, folks. Lots of love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye. Bye. Big hugs. Bye.